What is up, guys? It's Steven, back with Nick for another video. Nick, how are we doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Hopefully you are recovered.
I am good. I'm good. Guys, backstory on that. We were supposed to record yesterday for this exact video. I took the risk at lunch during work hours, had the leftover Chinese food. I was kind of asking for it. I was basically on the IR for the rest of the day. But here we go. We're recovered. We're fine now, and today we're going to bring you guys another fantasy football video, getting you guys prepped for draft season. It's right around the corner. We are going to do wide receiver edition for sophomore slump or bump. Basically, will these sophomore wide receivers going into year two, will they outperform or underperform? Or maybe they'll perform perfect, just at their average draft position. So, Nick, I mean, let's no reason to waste. Let's jump right into this. I know you're pretty big on this guy. New York Giants wide receiver Malik Nabers out of LSU. He's right now his sleeper average draft position is 9th overall. So little middle to the late first round. What do you think of that? Are you comfortable taking Nabers there? Would you take him higher, take him lower? Tell me what you're thinking.
I don't care what the pick is in the first round. I'm taking Malik Nabers if he's there, whether or not it's 1.01 or whether or not it's the 9th. I don't care. I really love this kid and think he can really explode, especially on a team that has Jackson Dart possibly leading them and the dude that started his training camp debut with an interception. Not the best guy throwing him the ball. So we're really kind of hoping that he's going to explode. If you get him at 9, it's a fantastic position. But me personally, keep going up. I don't care what the pick is. Nabers all the way.
I agree. I think Nabers is a great pick this year. Not worried about him, slumping per se.
Exactly.
He's the main target in that offense, and we saw that last season as a rookie. He had multiple games over 12 targets, and nothing really has changed. They haven't really added another receiving weapon that will really command a ton of targets. So I think even with a poor quarterback play, very comfortable taking Malik Nabers as my wide receiver one. And at the end of the first, I think I wouldn't take him earlier than 9th. I have him actually, I think, around my 9th or 10th player off the board. So
Ooh.
right around average draft position for him, and I'd feel comfortable taking him right there. Let's hop into another stud wide receiver. This one out of Jacksonville, Brian Thomas Jr. He was kind of slept on coming into last year behind some other names on this list, Malik Nabers being one of them. Completely outperformed, was fantastic last season. Finished as a wide receiver one with some quarterback issues. Now he gets Trevor Lawrence back and healthy, hopefully for a full season. They add Travis Hunter, which may take away some targets. But hey, Nick, it might limit double teams coming into this season. So that could be a benefit for him in the long run. And
Absolutely.
Brian Thomas Jr., he's going 13th overall. Me personally, I love that. I have him around Malik Nabers. I think I have him as my 11th ranked player on the board. So a slight bump from me, if you will. I'm completely comfortable taking Brian Thomas Jr. right where he's going in that late first, early second. Like I said, he's getting Trevor Lawrence. And I mean, I think Travis Hunter is going to give him a boost in fantasy. Honestly,
I've got to agree with you, man. I think that he's really got Nabers level ceiling. I know that Travis Hunter's there. He's going to take away a little bit, but at 13, man, you can't get much better.
Exactly right. We'll hop into our third wide receiver. This one out of Los Angeles. We're going to go with Ladd McConkey. He's going 22nd overall right now. So the end of the second, early third round on Sleeper. Nick, you're pointing to the sky. You're giving him a bump.
Oh,
What do you like
absolutely.
about Ladd coming into this year?
Oh, I think Ladd is really poised to do so much. Harbaugh obviously doesn't really have a number 2. Obviously, we just saw Mike Williams retire, so they're really hoping on rookie. I think it's Trey Harris coming in. I mean, you got a rookie and then the solid 1,000+ receiver in Ladd. Oh yeah, Herbert is going to be going for that playoff win as well. So he's really going to have to rely on somebody, and they can't run the ball every down, regardless of how many running backs they have. So they're going to need Ladd to go out there and really make something happen. So for me, At 22, if you can get Ladd, absolutely. It also means that you could probably pair him with Justin Herbert down the road. Oh, yeah, this is take him if he's there. If you can get him a little bit earlier, get him, but I am completely happy with this.
I tend to agree. I'm not as bullish on Lad McConkey. I love him as a player. He's fantastic. The only thing that worries me is I don't know if Lad has the upside of some of the guys going around his draft position right now at that late second. I just don't know if he's going to, I don't know if I see a 12, 13, 14 touchdown season in Lad's range of outcomes. And now that's not a knock on him. It's just I just don't see that in the range of outcomes. So I don't see the elite like wide receiver, top 5 wide receiver upside for Lad. Even though he is the only really reliable receiving option right now for Herbert. I honestly could see him doing like what Keenan Allen did with the early years of Justin Herbert, where he was a top 12 receiver, fantastic for you, probably right around this average draft spot,
Yep.
late second round. So he's definitely not going to bust. Definitely a guy I'm willing to take if he falls to the late second, maybe early third. Definitely scooping him up there. So definitely not a bust for Lad McConkey.
No
This
way.
next guy, expectations were through the roof last year. He busted in his rookie year. People were taking him as early as the late first round, mid second round. And honestly, I was one of those guys. I was one of them. I was one of them. And that's Marvin Harrison Jr. of the Arizona Cardinals. Nick, what are we thinking about Marvin Harrison Jr. this year? It's year 2, new offensive coordinator. What are we thinking for the Cardinals this year?
The Cardinals are in a really interesting spot, especially with Marvin Harrison. I actually could see a scenario where Marvin Harrison absolutely breaks out and is a top 7 wide receiver. But if that's the case, Trey McBride falls to the wayside, and a lot of other things kind of have to fall into place. So for me, at this position in the mid 30s, I'm kind of wanting to get somebody else around this time. If he falls maybe 5 or 6 places more, I feel a little bit more comfortable, especially because Kyler Murray isn't going to be a crazy high draft pick as well. Again, I'm a big fan of stacking guys, but his opportunity to become the number 1 target is going to mean the suffering of McBride, which I just don't see happening.
Good point. Good point. Bringing up McBride. I genuinely think they could coexist. I mean, Marv was a bust last year according to his draft position, but he still had
Absolutely.
a solid rookie season, just shy of 1,000 yards, just shy of 10 touchdowns. He had a great season. It just felt like he wasn't being utilized enough.
I agree.
I mean, we saw glimpses of what he can do. What was that, week 2? He had that 2 touchdown performance.
Yep.
I think 100 yard. It was a great game, and you just really that. I honestly thought, oh, he's doing it. Like, he's gonna be a top 5 receiver in the league this year. And honestly, I'm such a believer in his talent that they are going to utilize him much, much more this season. I still think they'll utilize McBride. I think Marvin Harrison will be more of a red zone option. I could honestly, like I was saying with Lad, I don't see the touchdowns with Lad. I see a path for 13, 14, 15 touchdowns for Marvin Harrison this year.
Absolutely.
And if he gets to that number, that means he's getting 1,100, 1,200 receiving yards. And if he does that, he's instantly in a top 5 wide receiver at the position, and getting him at 35th. I think it's worth the risk. In
I
fantasy football,
agree.
you don't get a prize for third, fourth place, second place, anything. Actually, you might get one for second place. But you're going for the glory in this great game of fantasy
Absolutely.
football. Swing for the fences. Go draft Marvin Harrison. He could be a league winner this season, so I have him as a bump. Another league winner whose ADP will surely be on the rise with the news of his teammate, Xavier Worthy. Currently, right now, as of recording this on July 24th, Worthy's sleeper average draft position is 55th overall. To me, that's a little too low right now. He'll surely rise after the news of Rashi Rice. Not sure what's going to happen with his situation, but Worthy is going to be a fantastic pick this year in Dynasty, or not Dynasty, and in Dynasty, but in redraft. I think he's going to be a steal at that position. I think he could go as high as a little bit after Marv in the late 30s, early 40s range of overall players. Nick, you're shaking your head like you agree. What do you see with Worthy?
I do agree with you, but I'm really struggling with this. I might still like Rashee Rice better. The reason why is because I feel like once he comes back, Worthy's ability to get those high volume games is going to massively sink because we know one of his favorite targets is Rashee Rice, especially with what we saw last year. So as much as I love Worthy, I absolutely think that he could be a great receiver. Wide receiver 2, probably, because if I'm going in this position, I'm going with Marvin Harrison. I'm going with those guys over Xavier Worthy because I'm expecting Xavier Worthy to stay the X even after Rashee comes back, or we were talking about this previously. If Royals somehow breaks out, I'm still expecting Worthy to beat him. I don't know about that. I'm very hesitant about Worthy. I like him, I really do, but ooh, maybe he's a little too high.
That's fair to say. That's fair to say. Me personally, I'm thinking if Rashi Rice, we don't really know an update on his situation. We know that, he has to do 30 days in jail. We don't know when
Yep.
that's going to happen. And when you're an NFL player, you kind of, you can bend the rules. They accommodate your schedule, which is kind of crazy, but that's a topic for another time. I'm not sure if, for example, if Rashi Rice missed training camp per se, this is going to be, that would be almost, it'll be just about a year from the last time that he was able to, develop chemistry with Patrick Mahomes. And this would be Xavier Worthy. Played the entire season last year, really caught on at the end, had a great Super Bowl, kind of overshadowed by the Eagles' dominance, but he led the game in receiving yards, had 2 touchdowns, 8
He
catches,
really did well.
yards. Yeah, and he looked explosive all throughout the playoffs, and I think that will just improve on that. I don't think he'll be Tyreek Hill. I think he could be Tyreek Hill light in this Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid offense, and he
That's
could be
perfect.
exact. And at 55th overall, I'm willing to take that. I'm willing to reach on Xavier Worthy right now in drafts. Kind of feels like there's a slight drop off in tiers with every guy we name. Next one is another drop off, but he could, you know, boost himself up, bump up, if you will, to the tier ahead as he was in the tier ahead last year, and that's Rome Odunze of the Chicago Bears. He's going 77th overall right now, according to Sleeper. Nick, tell me how you feel about Rome Odunze and the Bears offense this year.
First, let's talk about the Bears offense. I think it's going to be a lot better than last year. I think that what we saw from Caleb Williams last year is going to be, for the most part, changed. And I think that we can expect Caleb Williams to throw about 30 touchdowns, at least. I could see a scenario where that's higher. If that's the case, Rome Odunze really does have an opportunity to do something, especially with the recent news that Luther Burden, is dealing with day-to-day kind of like little ticky-tack injuries at training camp. That is something to monitor. The 2 tight end situation is still interesting, and of course, they still have DJ Moore. So really, Odunze is a very boom or bust wide receiver too. At that ADP, though, I'm probably going with somebody that might be a little bit safer of a pick. Odunze is really kind of hoping on the right situation and the moments to kind of fall in. I do believe in the person behind him more than I believe in him, and that says something because I really liked Odunze coming in. But as long as DJ Moore is there and as long as Luther Burden is there, Odunze might get squeezed out of this. So for me, it might be a bump, man.
Slump.
Slump. I got it backwards. Slump. It might be a slump.
I agree with you here, Nick, and I feel like I've talked about this Bears receiving room at nauseating levels on this channel. Everyone knows my love for Luther Burden. And I agree. I don't know. Now, we could be looking back and this time next year and be like, wow, Rome Odunze, that was such a great pick, being 77th overall later in your draft, and he performed as a low end wide receiver one, maybe a high end wide receiver two. He could be in that like elite, not elite, but solid tier going where maybe like where Marv is drafted right now in the third, fourth round next
Exactly.
time next year. But if I'm going to put my money on a Bears wide receiver, I'm going to put it on Luther Burden. You can get him at the cheapest, and he fits Ben Johnson's Amon-Ross St. Brown role to a T.
Yep.
And I just, DJ Moore, I think he's going to fill that field stretcher role. That could be Odunze. I mean, Odunze is a great contested catch guy. That's what he was known for in college. But I just don't know if Odunze is going to fit in as well as DJ Moore or Luther Burden in this Chicago offense. And, honestly, Ben Johnson, he could probably get all three of these guys fantasy relevant. That's not out of the question at all either. So, but for me personally, where I'm going to be drafting, I'm going to look at some other guys around his range, like a Jacoby Myers or this guy. Honestly, I like the guy we're going to talk about next.
Me too.
Odunze next, and that is Ricky Pearsall of the San Francisco 49ers. That he was on the pup. Got to keep an eye on that. The report said he should be practicing on Sunday, so my concerns have lessened for Pearsall. I was a little concerned. I was like, where did this come from? Why is he on the pup? Now
Plus
we know
Ayuk
on the pup. Juwan Jennings wants a new contract, might be traded. It's a whole disaster for that wide receiver room, but somebody is going to play and get the targets. And honestly, I think that's going to be Ricky Pearsall. We know he's going to be on the team. We know he will be playing, most likely should be playing week 1. Can't say that about Brandon Ayuk. You can't say that about Juwan Jennings. Ayuk might be out half the season, and Juwan Jennings might be in a new team by tomorrow, for all we know. Ricky Pearsall, we know he will be on the 49ers come week 1. We hope he is on the field week 1. And if he is, I think he's just going to eat all the targets behind Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. And that is a fantasy relevant player to have right there. Kyle Shanahan, wide receiver 1. Nick, looks like you're agreeing with me. Anything to add on that?
No, 100% in agreement. I think that Pearsall has such a great opportunity in front of him, especially with the weirdness about Juwan Jennings now, the weirdness about Ayuk. The 49ers are really going to be needing somebody to just take that next step. And this dude took a bullet and still might be somebody's wide receiver 1. What a crazy story for this guy. I'm so excited for this. And yeah, whatever you can get him at, whatever his ADP at, it is perfect. Don't let it go up any higher because he needs to be on my team. Not yours, my team. Okay?
Absolutely. He's super ADP right now is 100. He's the 101st off the board right now.
Take it.
According to Sleeper. I think that's one of the best values right now in drafts, especially after the Juwan Jennings news. But I honestly, Nick, I mean, if Jennings gets traded, that expect that ADP to rise very rapidly. Very rapidly.
I don't even know where Jennings would go, though. Like, it's just a weird situation, but whatever. More for Pearsall.
Last name we have on our list, Xavier Legette from South Carolina. Going into year 2, this is your team. I'm going to let you take it away. Right now, he's going 166th player off the board, according to Sleeper. Nick, this is your team. What should we expect from Xavier Legette this year?
Xavier is going to be in a really interesting spot, if I'm going to be honest with you. He's going to be behind Nalo McMillan, our first-round pick from this year. So obviously he's fighting for wide receiver 2, but he's fighting it against a 34, soon-to-be 35-year-old Adam Thielen. So if he's coming into your lineup, he's a high wide receiver 2 potential, but right now he's most likely wide receiver 3 on the team. At the ADP, if you need that wide receiver depth, if you went 2 early wide receivers and then went running back depth later or did something funky and you need a backup wide receiver, he's a perfect one. because if anything happens to Adam Thielen, if he gets traded, if Tetaroa McMillan, aka Nalo, is kind of iffy, Xavier's going to have to be that wide receiver one. He's got the athleticism, and while I don't trust his hands, everybody from training camp seems to say that he is crushing it on the jugs machine. So, like I said, at the ADP, take him, especially if you just need the depth. His potential to jump out is there for sure.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. I mean, 166th overall. He's basically free in drafts. You
Exactly.
take him with one of your last picks. Take him instead of a kicker for all. Just, I mean, you're going to be able to, for example, you said if Thielen is gone or something happens, injury, he could get a massive bump and be
Absolutely.
playable. He could be a flex spot. If he's on your roster, he could be a guy that you just hold on for a week or two and you know what you're getting. You can see how many snaps he's getting a game. And then I think throughout the entire season, he's a guy to keep your eye on as whether the Panthers, are in playoff contention, falling out of playoff contention, want their younger guys to play. I think they want to know what they have in Xavier Legette, especially alongside Tet McMillan. So I think he's a name definitely to keep, high upside right there and basically free. So why not take him at the end of your draft? Definitely a bump from me. Nick, I love that. I think sophomores are looking at sophomore receivers and running backs. It's one of my favorite things to do in fantasy, and honestly, post hype sleepers. Be on the lookout for that video in the coming days. Nick, I don't know. Out of those guys, let's wrap it up with this question for you. Out of those guys, which one is your favorite value? Because we had a lot of bumps. A lot of guys you like. There's Nabers. I know
To
you
be
like.
honest, it's going to be Xavier Legette. As much as I have been critical of him in the past, and I've been very critical because I feel like the team should have went a different direction in that draft, Xavier showed a good rookie season, though the team was going through flux. Now, if Tetaroa McMillan is going to solidify himself as the wide receiver one, the ADP that you're able to get Xavier at is one where you can focus on other things in the draft. You can let him fall to you because nobody's going to reach on Xavier Legette, barring trade news of an Adam Thielen or something like that. You also got to realize there's another one down there, Jalen Coker. He's probably ADP 300 or something like that. That room has such an interesting opportunity to really become something. And even if now he's not the greatest pick, if you're in Dynasty, Legette might be the guy to go snag because once Adam Thielen's out of there, he's solid wide receiver too, unless they decide to go and trade for one, which, doesn't really make sense at this point. So, yeah, Xavier's got to be my pick. Again, even though I've been critical, he's the way to go.
Absolutely. And I'll just give mine real quick. I think, like I said, swing for the fences in these leagues. And I think Marvin Harrison has the upside to be a top 5 fantasy football wide receiver by year's
Absolutely.
end. So, guys, that's our takes on our sophomore wide receivers slumping or bumping this year. Let us know what you guys think about these guys at their ADP right now. Tell us if you think they're going to slump or bump up next season. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button and be on the lookout for more fantasy football videos. My name is Steven. Nick, peace out, guys.
Have a great one.